We just saw the Sonic movie.
And it was freaking awesome. Let's talk about it. We actually lied. We did not see the Sonic movie. We saw it twice.
Yes, and we did not just see it. We saw it 2 weeks ago at least.
As of recording this, we saw it on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And which technically was the opening day, even though they had the early review or early release like a week before.
Yeah, they always say when the day opens up, but it opens up Friday, whatever, and you know the first showings are Wednesday night. So
yeah, it's like too bad you're gonna have to get there early. Hope you have a flight ticket to California. I personally loved the Sonic movie.
Oh wait a minute, we should do introductions.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah!
Introductions are for losers!
Let's find out who we are now. Wow, that's
Let's
an amazing
talk about
thought.
that!
Let's talk about us. Hello, I am Caleb. I run CaleGames on Twitch, twitch.tv/CaleGames. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I would plug my YouTube channel, but this will be like the first video on it in a long time, unless it goes on your channel. I don't know whose channel.
My channel's dead.
Fair enough.
Like, my second YouTube channel isn't up yet, and my first channel is dead. So, like,
That's
it's going up on yours.
Okay. So, but this will be the first video in months, and I've basically just left you guys in the dust. I'm so sorry about that. No, but seriously. And I am a moderate fan of Sonic. I have seen Sonic, I know a lot about his history and his games, but I wouldn't call myself like a fanboy or a super Sonic geek like some other people are. Like some people like this person. Transition.
Hello, hola, and konnichiwa. My name is Momo, and I run MochiMochi on Twitch. I am trying to set up a YouTube channel, but I'm having a lot of issues, so just kind of stay tuned for that. My streams are on Sundays at 4 p.m. I try to get them running, but currently I'm dealing with internet issues, although they're almost solved, so stay tuned for that. I am a huge Sonic fan. Like, I have been into Sonic since I was, like, in middle school. I think my first Sonic game was when I was, like, 9 years old. It was Sonic and the Secret Rings, which, granted, didn't age very well, but I still enjoyed it. I am very optimistic whenever it comes to the games, like when Sonic Boom came out. I was kind of the person like, oh, this looks bad, but then as it went on, like, maybe we'll give it a chance, and then it came out and basically destroyed the world and everything that I love. So, as I said, my YouTube channel is dead. I do have one called Sonic Dorito Blast. It's dead, but if you want to look at it and just see what I have done in the past, then feel free. But as far as, like, MochiMochi goes, this is my face reveal, so I hope you like it. My Twitch will be in the description below. Once again, on Sundays at 4 p.m. if I can. Sometimes I stream more frequently during the week if the internet decides to like me, and we'll have a lot of fun.
Yay!
Yay! So we have seen the Sonic movie not once, but twice. We first saw it on opening weekend, then I was gonna see it with a coworker, and he bailed on me, so I invited this loser instead. So we have seen it twice. So we have seen it as just, you know, seeing it in general, just trying to enjoy the movie. And then the second time we watched it, we were being a lot more critical. So I feel like we have a genuine feel on this movie, especially since, as CaleGames said, he knows Sonic, but he's not too big of a fan, versus someone who, like, practically lives on rings and, like, Chaos Emeralds. So I was very excited about the movie, especially, like, after they, you know, fixed the design. The first design looked disgusting, but we're gonna talk about that later.
Spoilers. Warning. Spoilers for the Sonic movie. If you don't want to learn the spoilers, then stop watching right now, because this whole video is going to be spoilerific. And, but I will say this. Watch the movie. It is...
Legally. Watch the movie legally.
Yes. You wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal a purse. So why would you steal movies?
Oh my gosh, Pirating I remember that commercial.
Stealing.
I remember that commercial.
That's right.
That played at, like, the beginning of every single movie that we bought. But anyways, that's besides the point.
I remember.
Spoilers. Major spoilers.
Yes, and some of you may be thinking, I don't care about the Sonic movie that much. I don't really want to see it. I disagree. Watch it. If that doesn't give away my opinions just a little bit, it's probably better than you think it is.
Yeah, especially like after the first design, because the first design gave it a bad rap.
Oh yes.
But Paramount actually listened to the fans, and they were like, okay, it's like, yes, it was from a business standpoint. I definitely see it as from a business standpoint, but at the same time, it still felt like a gift to like the fans and the people, and not just critics. Because like, yes, you want to please the critics, but the critics versus the actual audience,
what matters more?
Yeah, which matters more? Your audience or the people who are just basically saying your movie stinks because it wasn't the movie that they wanted?
Most movie companies try to please the critics more than the audience.
Yeah, it's honestly annoying.
They go the direction of pleasing the critics more than the audience, because in a big way, the critics are more important than the audience, because the critic reviews are what the audiences listen to, and basically the critics have a very big role in determining how much money a movie makes.
They literally went to college just to talk about movies.
Yes.
So it's like anyone would want to listen to a critic. Yeah.
So it's very important to listen to the critics in a way, or please the critics, but Paramount decided to go against the grain and listen to the audience and redo the whole entire Sonic design.
Yeah. So, it's just like, support Paramount. Go watch the movie legally. I would recommend buying it. I'm buying it as soon as it releases. So sorry, anyone that was gonna get that for me for my birthday. I'm a little bit too fast for you. But yeah, spoilers. Go watch the movie. I think you're gonna enjoy it, even if you're not that much of a Sonic fan.
One last thing. Yes, I know I have a sunburn. It's a problem. I just have to deal with it. All right.
Not me. I just have a bunch of scars on my forehead.
So the movie starts with Paramount Sega logos, of course, and it starts out with Sonic on his home planet. Now, we never really hear the name of the planet.
It's called Mobius, according to the comics.
According to the comics, it's called Mobius, but we never hear the name of the planet in the movie, so maybe a change for the movie. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in the future. Sequel. We'll get to that later. And Sonic is running around, and he's basically telling the story of his. And this is after... The start of the movie's kind of cliche, because it starts out during the final battle, and Sonic's like, well, don't you know how I got here? Well, it's a long story, let me tell ya.
It's like, how did
it started back in the summer of '86.
No, I was thinking about that one, like I don't remember the name of the song, but it's like another one.
This is a story all about... Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song.
I don't know that one. Anyways,
yeah.
Continue.
So... we go back and see Sonic as a kid, and we see Longclaw. Now, Longclaw...
Longclaw felt...
Talk about it for a second.
Yeah.
Talk about Longclaw.
As, like, a major fan of Sonic, Longclaw felt kind of out of place. Like, first, I still love Longclaw, but just because, like, I know about Sonic Underground, the show where you actually get to see his mother, like, Sonic's mom.
Is that Longclaw in Sonic Underground?
No, Longclaw is not in Sonic Underground. Longclaw is completely new.
Okay, so that's just with the movie.
Yeah, just a completely different character. Never seen her before. Never made, or like never done. In like Sonic Underground, you actually see like Sonic's real mom and his brother and his sister Sonya and Manic.
I have seen that show.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, so like you kind of know the baseline. It's like Sonic, according to that show, has like a mom, like a real mom. We never see his dad.
That theme song was freaking
horrifying
awesome.
Background story, maybe. But Longclaw.
Can I just say the theme song for that show was amazing?
Oh yeah. Sonic Underground. Longclaw, he's basically like Sonic's guardian. Like he took care of him in his entire life, told him like keep his powers hidden, and eventually Sonic led the Nux tribe to their hut, and it seems like Longclaw died, but the thing is that Longclaw like threw the ring, Sonic went through, and it closes before you see anything. So my suspicion is that Longclaw is still alive.
I have a rule when it comes to movies and TVs. It's if you didn't see it happen, it didn't. So we didn't see Longclaw died. I am sure she is still alive, and if they ever do a continuation of this movie, I'm sure we'll see her again. Maybe not in the next movie, but maybe in the far future. Depends on how big this movie series comes, if it even becomes a movie series. But yeah, Longclaw gave Sonic a pack of rings. He didn't have it before that moment, from as far as we know. It was just, you know, she gave him rings, and she used it to transport him to another planet. So,
AKA our planet.
Yes, that was
This
Earth.
is actually him right here. Keep going.
Yes, he came to visit us.
Hi. Hold on. There you go.
But it's set another planet, so as far as I know, they're still in our galaxy. This isn't like dimensional things. This is like, they're still in our galaxy.
Or at least universe. Because Longclaw, she said, like, this world is on the farthest side of the universe. So it could be our galaxy, it could not be, but anyways.
Oh yeah, it's at least our universe. Another thing is that Sonic has the rings to transport from planet to planet, and his next planet that he could be safe on, where people aren't trying to get his powers, because that's why Longclaw was attacked in the first place, was some mushroom planet, where there was literally no living things, just a mushroom planet.
Sonic, like, he finds a town called Green Hills, which is a reference of Green Hill Zone. He meets Tom, and I feel so bad. I can't remember his wife's name.
Same thing.
The laptop. Look it up.
Look it up on laptop. Okay.
Maddie.
That was her name?
I guess. I only remember them mentioning it a couple times.
She was really in the movie.
And he specifically landed in a place in Montana called Green Hills, and he finds Tom and Maddie. Are you okay?
So I was yawning without opening my mouth.
He meets Tom and Maddie and kind of settles next to their house. He basically stalks them for 10 years, and he calls the place his home. Eventually, Sonic gets caught because he threw a tantrum during a baseball game. He basically realized he is alone, and he has no one really he has like no friends, he has no family. So he runs around the bases to the point he creates a literal sonic boom and cuts off the power for, I think it was like half of the country, half of the nation. I can't remember.
I think they said the Northwest.
Yeah, it was like some. They got very specific,
Pacific
and it even
Northwest.
ruined satellites. So this was a big deal. The government got involved, and they were like, okay, we need to get the biggest brain on this. And who do they pick? Dr. Ivo Robotnik, aka Jim Carrey.
Oh, Jim!
Right off the bat, you can tell that Dr. Robotnik means serious business. Like, he walks in and he walks up to a general and literally goes, like, he's questioning their powers. And he... Are you in charge here?
Are you...
Yes, Nope! Wrong! I'm in charge! Me! Anyways, so... Dr. Robotnik by the way, I know his name is Eggman, but I'm going to refer to him as Dr. Robotnik during this review because that's kind of...
Eggman's his nickname.
Yeah, but eventually they changed to Eggman. People in the comments are going to be like, it's Eggman, or it's Robotnik, because that's like... people are like that. Anyways, so he sends out his robots, they find a footprint of Sonic, and now they're coming for Sonic, and he has to hide. And so he stumbles into Tom's house and gets shot with a tranquilizer dart. And as he's passing out, he drops a ring. And because the last thing he saw was the word San Francisco on Tom's, frankly, quite nice-looking t-shirt, the rings get sent to San Francisco, and now they have to get them back.
And San Francisco was on his shirt because Tom is a police officer in a small town, but he applied to be a San Francisco police officer to be kind of like a street cop.
Yeah.
So now he's planning to move to San Francisco, and
with the help of Zillow.
With the help of Zillow. More on that later. His wife's already in San Francisco with his wife's sister,
who is amazing.
Who is she's just really funny in the movie. And he is getting ready to just leave town. She's up there looking at apartments.
With the help of Zillow.
Sponsored by Zillow. Great rates at Zillow. Awesome. Thousands of... Sonic passes out, and Tom kind of captures Sonic. And Sonic wakes up in a cage.
He swiftly escapes his cage.
Of course. His biggest of big... You see how huge this head is compared to the body?
There's gotta be a brain in there somewhere.
That's a big brain right there.
That's a big brain right there.
Uses his thick brain to escape from captivity and convinces Tom to help him. And mind you, the robots, Dr. Robotnik's robots are still looking for him. The robots are everywhere, and Dr. Robotnik found a quill of Sonic's.
Inside Tom's house.
Inside Tom's house. So you've probably seen it from the trailers. Sonic reveals himself. Tom punches Robotnik. Sonic takes down a robot that delivers Amazon packages. Another amazing sponsor, I gotta tell ya. I mean, their package deliveries are always on time. Tom and Sonic get away in their brand new Toyota Tacoma, because Toyota is a really good truck. So Sonic and Tom are now on the road, and they're heading to San Francisco, not San Diego, to get Sonic's rings that he lost. And on the way, they stop by a gas station to get gas, and Sonic sees this amazing party that's going on with a bunch of like hot rods and motorcycles. So Sonic goes into the restaurant, they talk about bucket lists, and that becomes a running theme throughout the rest of the movie. Yeah. So Sonic creates his bucket list, and they do
Which is so pure, by the way. It's such a pure, like, bucket list, because he just wants to do things that everybody else was doing. Like, one of them was a slam dunk. He wanted to tame a wild animal, which really, he just rode a mechanical bull, which is, like, one of my favorite lines. Make a real friend was the last one, which is when you see when they finally, like, leave the place and they get a hotel room. And that spawned the beautiful moment of Sonic falling asleep. And it is just so cute. I mean, especially since they changed the design. If it was the old design, I would have been sitting there like, okay, Tom, it's your chance. Take it out now.
Kill him.
This whole movie is basically a road trip. Like, that's like the entire movie. They're going from Montana to San Francisco to get the rings. And it's really cliche.
Yeah.
But even then, I still enjoyed it, and not just because I was a huge Sonic freak, because I was very skeptical about this movie, especially when I heard it was live action, but then later on I was like, oh, this might be really cool, like, we'll see how this happens, because, I don't know, I've read my fair share of fan fictions, I've made my fair share of fan fictions, link in the description to my DeviantArt if you want to get a load of some of those good things. Please don't put it in the description.
Oh, I know.
Actually,
I would never willingly send anyone to that place.
It was just really cool to see, like, how they tried to, like, combine Sonic and the human world, because they've done that before in TV shows, like Sonic X. Sonic literally gets transported over to our world and blah blah blah. If you've seen the show, you probably know about it. So, at first I was really skeptical, but then it was like, okay, let's see how they do it. And then they released that horrifying image and almost destroyed my hope for humanity.
Yeah, that thing was just
disgusting.
Who approved that, honestly?
Well, Paramount, as far as I remember, they wanted to go for a realistic look, and they thought it would please the general audience. They thought that something other than this would please the audience. CaleGames in post put what they were about to do over here, and not the silhouette. Do the one with, like, the human teeth. That looks absolutely mortifying. That's what they tried to go with. Not this. Not this. Not this. Okay. The whole movie, I enjoyed it as a Sonic fan, like as a Sonic freak. I felt very satisfied with what I got, especially with like all the hype that went behind it. Like I was so scared that this movie would cause just too much hype, but they delivered. Granted, it's no Endgame. It's not the best movie. Could use some improvements. But all in all, wonderful movie. And
yeah, in many ways, it is a very cliched movie, and that's just what you're gonna get with your standard buddy road trip movie, in the same vein of Dumb and Dumber, also starring Jim Carrey. Coincidence?
I think not.
But it's just that's exactly what it is. It's a standard B-type movie, buddy road trip movie. But I think that it's better than your standard road trip movie.
Yeah.
It does have its fair share of cliches. That's just what you're going to get with this type of movie. But it has Sonic the Hedgehog. It's got references.
It has Sonic the Hedgehog?
No way. It does? You're in it?
Boy! There we go. Woof!
But, yeah, and as a non-Sonic fan, I was pleased with what I got. I wouldn't call me a non-Sonic fan. I am a fan of Sonic.
It's like you know about it, but he knows, like, the basics.
Yeah. I know a good portion of Sonic information, but nowhere near what she knows. I haven't read any comics.
I'm the kind of person that would stay up late and watch 101 facts about Sonic. You ask me a question, I will more likely answer it, except for dates and times. I can never remember those, ever.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have, like, any comics or anything like that, so...
But I haven't read any of the comics. I have not played any of the games. This is the only Sonic movie that I've ever seen. I never regularly or even barely watched any Sonic series, so I went into this fairly blind. I knew who Sonic was. I knew a lot of information. I knew a lot of the characters, and I knew how important this franchise and this brand was to a lot of people. So I wanted Paramount to do well just for Paramount's sake and for the fans' sake as well, because I think they deserved something good of Sonic, because that's not...
Or just like a video game movie in general, because they've always had a bad reputation.
Right, video game movies have had bad reputations. With the Super Mario Brothers movie and that whatever travesty that was. Lara Croft Tomb Raider did fairly well, but that's just because it was your generic action movie. As a video game movie, it just wasn't good. Detective Pikachu kind of broke that streak. It was a really good
It was a decent movie. Like, honestly, I'm not a big fan of Pokemon. I never really... I was one of those kids that grew up with their parents saying, or other people saying, like, Pokemon is demonic, so I never could get into Pokemon. Well, I could, and now that I'm an adult, it's just like, it never appealed to me. But Detective Pikachu was a decent movie. Just wasn't really what I was looking for. And we're probably going to compare Detective Pikachu to Sonic, because that's really the best comparison that we have during this movie.
It's just your better than normal buddy road trip movie. It's got a lot of references. It has a lot of love put into it. I can tell that. And it's just better than you'd think it would be. I did not go into this movie with high hopes. I knew it would be your standard B movie. I know it would be very pandering, maybe a lot of kid humor. It's just better than normal. That's all I can say.
Ben Schwartz, I would like to personally say thank you, because you did a very good job. I was actually really scared when I heard Ben Schwartz was going to be Sonic. I never even had any idea of who would voice Sonic other than Roger Craig Smith. So I was one of those fans that was like, oh, I want Roger. But then we got Ben, and when I heard of the stuff that he did, like he played I think it was Dewey in DuckTales, and he's in Teen Titans. He's like, so he's got a good voice. And whenever we finally got the trailer, not the first one, like the second one, because I feel like they tweaked his voice a little bit when it came to the second movie, I was pleased. I was very happy. And the way how he portrayed Sonic in the movie as like a kid who just really wanted to actually experience the world, it was so innocent. Like, you know how Sonic says, like, what's a bucket list? Like, he didn't know what a bucket list was. It's so cute how he asked those questions. Ben Schwartz managed to actually portray, like, a kid with genuine curiosity over something so simple. And Sonic's supposed to be, like, I think, like, 13 or 15 in this movie. So, Ben Schwartz, you did an amazing job. Although I'm still frankly upset about the promotion you did where you lied to us about giving us a free hedgehog, because I really want a hedgehog as a pet. I want a hedgehog as a pet and name it Silver, because that's my favorite Sonic character.
Is he a hedgehog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Silver is a hedgehog.
Just joking.
He is the best one. And anyone who thinks otherwise can go burn in a fiery pit.
James Marsden as Tom. Now, I want to talk about him for a second, because I think he did a very good job. Especially, I think he did a good job with what he was given. And what he was given was a
buddy road trip, just like all of his other previous movies.
Yeah, just like...
Like, what is this guy smoking? He's got so many weird people in the car.
Of course.
People.
So many being, like, 2. Unless I can find another one online. Maybe. Who knows?
I'm sure they'll find another one somewhere.
But, this is...
I actually wouldn't be surprised if you found like somebody in his trunk.
I think he also did very well with like the eye contact. Now I know they have a person on set that James can look at, but besides that one scene, which I'll show right here because it was in the trailer, his eye contact was very well done. We interacted with the CGI really well, which is another thing. I think the chemistry between Tom and Sonic was very nice. I think it was very realistic. And this is coming from a 17-year-old movie critic. I'm so nice. But this is from someone who knows nothing about movies. I think he did very well with what he was given. He was given a script for a general Buddy B movie, and he did very well. He made the interactions with Sonic look very realistic. James and Tika Sumpter did very well together. They worked off of each other really well. And I think while there weren't many scenes, because, like, Maddie was barely in the movie, I think she did very well. I'll just say this now. She did very well with what she was given, which was nothing. She was barely in the movie at all. Yeah. So
she was too busy looking stuff up on Zillow.
Yes. But
reoccurring joke, maybe.
Besides that, I don't think I'm gonna say anything more about her because there really is nothing to say.
There's nothing really to work with.
Right. Tom's interactions with Sonic was very real. I liked the chemistry. I could feel the chemistry, that it was there. So I think Tom and Ben did very well. And just all the other interactions, basically just with Robotnik.
Just Tom, worked really well with everybody in this movie.
Yeah. He worked, that's all I can say. He worked very well with what he was given. But now it is time we talk about the one, the only...
Jim Carrey! Okay, let me first admit, I was
Jim!
Do you want to send a message to Jim through our wonderful webcam, known as the iPhone? Actually, non-brand. Non-brand!
We're not sponsored.
Please don't hurt us.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Anyways, so let's talk about... I have to admit, I was the fan that was very upset when I heard that Jim Carrey was in this movie. But that's because I don't know, we already had, the poster released. So I was already, having low expectations for this movie. And then I heard Jim Carrey was in it, and it just went lower. But then, the more I thought about it, and then when I actually saw the trailer released, I was thinking, Jim Carrey is perfect for this role. And sure enough, he delivered. You saw that he had fun with this movie, and that's the whole reason he took on this character. Because in the past movies he's always done someone crazy. And Jim Carrey, well, duh, but Dr. Robotnik is about as crazy as you can get with a video game character that is borderline insane. Any more than that, you're gonna get someone who's you find in a mental institution. Mm. But Jim Carrey, was amazing. You could tell he had a lot of fun. He did research on this character. He thought about background stories, and there were so many times when he talked about he had no friends or he was being alone. Mm-hmm. He portrayed being satisfied with that.
He mentioned he was an orphan.
Yeah, that he was an orphan and stuff like that. It's you almost felt bad, but at the same time, the fact that he delivered, the fact that he was satisfied with being alone, that he hated people, you still there was a hint of feeling bad for him, but at the same time you're oh, but he's happy with that. He's a horrible person. It worked. It was incredible. And the jokes, my favorite scene with Jim Carrey is either him dancing or him reaching into his assistant's mouth, and just yanking him up to his face.
I wonder how many takes that took.
Well, maybe, he just stabs him in the chin or, pokes his eyes a couple times. But he actually did get permission from the actor who played Agent Stone, so there's nothing. No, he wasn't expecting it. I mean, this guy was expecting it. Anyways, Jim Carrey, amazing job in my perspective. So.
Mm-hmm. And something else I want to talk about is Agent Stone.
Oh, yeah.
Agent Stone was a very interesting character, and I think he had a little bit more to him than it was seen. We don't really know much about him.
Yeah,
I think with Agent Stone, now the references in this movie was awesome.
Oh, perfect.
So,
that's gonna be the next thing we talk about.
That's definitely gonna be the next thing we talk about. And guess what? You just got fooled. You see how I was on Agent Stone and then I switched abruptly with no transition? That's what happened to Stone.
Nothing happened to him.
There was just there was no exit scene for him. He was just in the movie until he wasn't. I just gave up on him.
Lee, I felt like he was kind of cardboard cut, but that was because he just had such an abrupt end to his character. He was literally there, and then when his last line was, I just thought you would like a latte with steamed Austrian goat milk, and then he's gone.
Yeah, we
There's
never see him
nothing
again.
left.
We saw his last scene in the trailer.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. We saw his last scene in the
trailer. I'd like to think that when Jim Carrey gets sent to the mushroom world, Lee, like as Agent Stone, now has nothing to do. Like, he doesn't know what to do. But the thing is the fact that he's just gone? Like, what happened? Is he, like, now looking for him? Is he finding another job? I would have been satisfied if at the end he was standing next to the general. I would have been satisfied with that.
Yeah.
So now what I want to see in the sequel is what happened to Agent Stone. I want to know what happened. Even if it's just Agent Stone walking up to Tom and, like, warning him about Robotnik, I would be satisfied with that. But I want an end. I want to know what happened to Lee. I want to know what happened. What did you do to him, Paramount? I swear, if you don't tell... I'm going on too much with these
He's locked
jokes.
in their basement.
They just put him in his box. But yes, as a character, like, just before they just randomly cut him out, you could tell that he admired Robotnik, even though that he knew that Robotnik hated him.
Yeah.
He still admired him for his work, his motive. Well, maybe not his work, because who knows? You know, if he admired him, more likely he's got his evil side too. But, like, he accepted the fact that Robotnik hated him. He was okay with everything that he was doing. He admired him. He gave him lattes.
Yes.
That's a sign that you care about someone. And even if, like, Jim or Robotnik doesn't say he cared about him, I feel like he did, because, you know, in the end, he's got a stone. Like, a literal stone with Lee's face on it. But, as, like, a character before they cut him off, great job.
Yeah.
Like, also, like, obviously, cardboard cutout, he just kind of felt bland at some points, but...
I think they could have done a
There's
lot
still,
more
like,
with this character.
Yeah, there was so much lost potential.
Yeah.
So, what I want to see in the sequel is more on Agent Stone. But other than, like, all
Or at
of
least
this...
something.
Yeah, something. All the actors, though, as a whole, like, everybody together, background characters, main characters, voice actors, they all did phenomenal with what they were given.
Solid job overall.
Yeah, wonderful. Like, I enjoyed seeing them. There wasn't a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, this person, like, can't act. They were all great.
Silence brand. Let's talk about sponsorships.
Oh
and
my gosh, this movie had a lot of them.
So the truck is a good example of a sponsorship. It was a Toyota Tacoma. The big words Tacoma were on the back of the truck. You could see it in the trailer. You could see it in the movie. You see it throughout the end. All the scenes of the truck. You could see they were driving a Toyota Tacoma. That's fine. Why? Because they had to use a truck to get to San Francisco. It makes sense. If you want to shove in a sponsor there, you can do that. That can fit in. That can fit in normally. At the beginning of the movie, Maddie is talking about how they're moving to San Francisco, and she says how she's looking for apartments on Zillow. And they show the website and the logo, and she says Zillow, and now she's looking for apartments. That's not required by the story.
That's like borderline variable.
That's pushing it.
For my opinion, it was borderline, because, like, they're moving to San Francisco. They need a place to stay. But it's like, you could have taken that name out. It's like, oh, I was just looking for apartments. You don't even show the website. You just show the back of the laptop.
Yeah.
It would have been fine. But even though that they kept Zillow in, I personally didn't notice until the second time when we watched it, when I was actively looking for the sponsorships. So I feel like it was pushing it.
Yes.
But barely pushing it.
It was pushing it, but it was quick.
Yeah.
It was quick.
Now let's talk about good old Olive Garden.
I love Olive Garden. Can I just say, I legit love Olive Garden.
I do, but I have also tried some other places, and now I've got other opinions. But Olive Garden is great. But when you constantly talk about it and push about their now non-existing, non-ending brand, like, you know, bread and pasta dishes, it ages the movie. Like, it just was so, like, I got annoyed with the fact that they were talking about Olive Garden. If they just left it at the beginning, I would have been fine. But the fact that at the end, they brought it up again, and they had the frickin' government give them an Olive Garden coupons for $50, not even $100. Yeah, gift card. They talk about the gift cards. They talk about the app. They talk about the never-ending pasta and bread bowls.
Possible.
What? Pasta bowl.
Bread bowl.
Whatever. Pasta, bread, whatever. You know what I mean. They talk. Yeah, they did. What did they do? Okay. Okay, let's start that over then. Freak. They just really pushed Olive Garden.
Yeah, it was only mentioned twice, but it was big 2 times. Tom was on the phone with Maddie, and basically, he talks about, like, in Olive Garden, that the only apps on his phone he has are the ones that the phone came with, and the Olive Garden app. And then she says, because when you're there, he says,
you
you're
feel
family.
like family.
You feel like family. And I'm just like, all right, they shoehorned in the Olive Garden app. And that's the only phone that's the only app worthy of being on his phone is the Olive Garden app. And you know, when you're there, you're family. And they shoehorned in the slogan. So that was a little pushing it. But what really happened was that after the entire movie, the government shows up at Tom's door and says, a little token of appreciation from Uncle Sam, hands him an envelope. They open it, and it's legit just a $50 gift card to Olive Garden.
I'm still upset that it's not even $100. Like 50.
Yeah,
that's one meal.
You just did the government a favor,
you
and
could
it's like
give
$50.
them like a gift card for life.
Exactly.
And you choose to do $50.
But
come on.
So he says, like, have you ever had the never-ending pasta bowl? It never ends. And if this movie would have released with the first Sonic design on time, that would have been a thing. But now the pasta bowl doesn't exist anymore.
So that puts a date on the video, like the movie.
They're not even accurate anymore because it was
They're no longer relevant.
They're no longer relevant. They would not exist on YouTube.
Long story short, just the advertisements, most of them I was okay with. Like mentioning the Amazon package, you know, when Sonic's on the droid. Like, can you believe these things are gonna release Amazon packages?
That was a joke. See, there was no reason to put that in, but it was done for comedic purpose.
Yeah.
So
when Dr. Robotnik breaks his glasses, call optical illusions. They know how I like my glasses. All of the sponsorships, minus Olive Garden and probably Zillow, were fine. I was okay with it. It worked with the movie. It was quick. I didn't even notice most of the time. But then the second time when I was actively counting these, I counted like 6, maybe 7. And that was because of that one line where Dr. Robotnik goes, "Do you know where your tax dollars are?" I thought that was a slogan for like another tax company.
It's not.
I had to actually look that up.
Which honestly, to me, that's the funniest joke in the movie.
Yes, we did it! We did not do it. Who is this guy?
Ever wonder where your tax dollars are going?
My turn.
And to me, that was just hilarious. That was just so funny. And it's like, you got all this expensive tech, it's like, ever wonder where your tax dollars are going? And it's just so funny.
And that just proves how evil he is. All the tax dollars just go straight to him.
Straight to his robotics.
Oh, references. Meme review.
Reference review.
Yes.
A lot of them. There were a lot of references in this movie. A lot of references about the Sonic franchise, the Sonic characters, locations. Basically, every aspect of Sonic was referenced in one way or another. And you can tell with the references, the people who made the movie knew the source material, and they cared enough to make the references. My favorite reference in the entire movie was early on, when in the town of Green Hill, there was a guy called Crazy Carl. And they called him Crazy Carl because he knew that Sonic was near the town. He lived near the town and that he existed. He called Sonic the Blue Devil.
Which is actually the name of one of the cars in Sonic Racing. So there's one reference right there. Also, Green Hills is the name of like the first zone that Sonic runs through. Anyways, continue.
So there's a scene where Crazy Carl says, "I drew a picture of the Blue Demon." And the picture is literally color for color, inch for inch, Sonic. It's actually... He just pulls up, "I drew a picture of him," and it's actually just internet Sonic.
And that was the first thing he saw when we watched it.
Yes,
because
the first
we had
time
to get food.
The first time I watched it, I was late walking into the movie because I was waiting for my food, which was really upset. But I saw everything in the beginning the second time I was watching it. But the first time, I walked into the theater, and after I sat down, the first thing I saw was Crazy Carl pulling out the picture. And it's like, I drew of him, and it's Sonic. I'm just like, the first thing that I genuinely saw in this movie after sitting down and getting comfortable was Sonic. I love this movie so much.
Yeah, like
It's
we
just a
both
huge meme. It's
we
amazing.
both had like that kind of reaction just right off the bat as soon as we saw this movie. I managed to get my onion rings because I was a nerd on time, and I managed to get in just as they were starting the scene with Baby Sonic. Like, you know, he's running around, and then whenever he gets into the hut and he gives Longclaw or he's about to give him the flower, and you see the Nux clan, or as I like to call them, the Echidna tribe, behind him, I freaked out. I was freaking out because in order to know about the Echidna tribe, you have to either know the Archie comics or have watched Sonic X, because those are like or played the Sonic Adventure game, because those are there's only like 3 times, as far as I remember, when they mention the Echidna tribe. So the fact that Paramount or the other people did their research and found like a civilization in the Mobian universe to use, it blew my mind. It made me freak out. It just felt like such a gift, because Paramount's going like, okay, we not only listened to you guys, we did research on other things that we can use for this movie. And I think what I heard, this was just a rumor, they were gonna have like lizard people instead of the Echidna tribe, and then eventually they were just like, no, there's too much to this movie, we gotta take out this whole villain guy, we'll replace it with them. And just like, I'm just so happy that they brought in the Nux clan. That is my favorite scene. I have like a favorite joke somewhere. I can't bring it I can't say it off the top of my head right now, just because of that one scene with the Nux tribe. Just right off the bat, we both had great expectations for this movie. He literally saw like the biggest meme when it comes to Sonic. He saw the Sonic drawing. I saw something that satisfied my Sonic freak, like the Sonic nerd inside. So right off the bat with references, we both had a great experience. As far as other references go, you would kind of have to look. Like when Sonic looks at his watch and starts tapping his foot. That happens in games if you leave the control alone for too long. There were like little, like, you know, the little bounce pads that he like flings off of. They had that design on the tires for his toy car bed. It's just other references you kind of had to look for, but the 2 biggest references left a huge impression on us for that entire movie. The big round of applause to Paramount. We love you thank you. Just thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu!
Cut that out, please.
You can't make me. Really
End
quick,
the movie.
I'm just gonna go to the beats of the climax.
Okay.
They get to the top of the tower where Sonic lost his rings, and Robotnik's there waiting for them. Shoots a bunch of missiles. You've seen this in the trailers. This is when he does the whole watch thing with the foot tapping, and that's where it kind of references what happens when you stay idle during a game of Sonic. And he takes out all the missiles. He pushes Tom and Maddie off the edge, and
Wait, who? Sonic or
Sonic
Chip?
pushes them off the edge, and Sonic throws down a ring and sends them back to Green Hill, while Sonic and Robotnik start fighting through the city. Robotnik uses the quill that he got from Sonic to power up his ship and be as fast as Sonic, and they start a fight across the world using rings to go from place to place to place.
Which I thought was really cool. Like
I
that
thought that was
they
a cool
brought
aspect.
up like different locations just
Yeah.
to show like the power of the. I mean, of course they show that you can literally go to the other side of the universe with these rings, but the fact that they didn't just limit themselves to like 2 places,
Right.
was really cool.
Yeah, they went to Egypt, they went to
They went
the
to
Great Wall of
China. They went to France.
France. So they end up in Green Hill, and Sonic is hit. He's knocked down. They try and fake his death, which, you know, cliche, but, you know.
Well, he wasn't like dead. He was just like knocked out.
Yeah, but they tried to, like, fake the audience into thinking he was dead or something, but, you know, cliche, but what can you do? So Tom is also in Green Hill, so Tom and Maddie meet up.
They get back, and
They get back. It's at night, and Sonic is... I don't think they actually ever talk about it, but his powers are very emotion-based.
yeah.
They never really talk about it during the movie. When Sonic did the first Sonic Boom that got the attention of the government, he was really upset because a big part of his story arc was that he was alone.
Yeah,
He
you
didn't have no
actually can
friends.
see in like, I followed this on Twitter, you can see in like 5 seconds or even less the emotions that he's going through. He runs to keep himself from getting upset. So the fact that his emotions were like building up caused you know, like he still went really fast to cause the sonic boom, but when his emotions get riled up, he literally turns into an electric ball. He becomes like a living charger, basically. Yeah. And you can see, like, in that baseball scene, like, in just a few seconds, like, how he's, like, running to try and keep his emotions away. Or, like, he's running away from his emotions. Mm-hmm. Just like me. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah. So, to make the movie a bit shorter, Tom is able to use the rings to get on top of the ship, and he's able to keep Robotnik distracted enough so that Sonic can make a move. Tom starts talking about how Sonic is his friend before Tom attacks the...
Which starts the epic scene that somewhat reminds me of Thor, but it was still really cool.
Yeah, Tom talks about how Sonic is his friend, and as soon as he says that, Sonic kind of gets up because he is happy that he has a real friend now, a true friend. So he's happy that he has one, and it makes his powers start going again, and he goes like Super Saiyan Sonic, not Super Sonic. Not Super Chaos Emerald Sonic with gold, no. He just gets, really powered up, and he's able to...
Let's just say he goes Thor, because that's basically what it is.
And he starts wailing into Robotnik's ship and does a lot of damage. They do enough damage to Robotnik's ship to where Sonic is able to push him back. Tom throws a ring, and they send Robotnik to the Mushroom Planet. And that's basically where he goes. Closes up, everyone's happy now.
Sonic lives with Tom and Maddie now.
Sonic lives with Tom and Maddie. He lives in their attic now, and they moved all the stuff from his cave to the attic.
Which almost made me cry. It was such a happy scene.
As far as the government knows, the Tom and Maddie have not heard from Sonic again.
Like Sonic's just gone.
He's just gone. But, to Tom and Maddie, he's still there. Now he lives in Green Hill. And
he has, like, an actual family.
He has an actual family now. It's very nice. And we see at the very end of the movie, Jim Carrey's full transformation into
Dr. Eggman.
Dr. Eggman.
Like,
his mustache grows this huge cartoony orange. He shaves off his head to go bald. He
does the voice. Like,
yes.
Like, some people saw it as, like, the Grinch, but if you really listen carefully, the Grinch has more of, like, this, like...
Hello.
Hello. Like, there's still, like... It's like, at first, glance, if you don't know Dr. Eggman, you would think it's the Grinch, but it's actually Eggman. Like, there's the raspiness to his voice, and the best part is, he's not in it 100%.
Yes. You kind of see him in the middle of transformation between Jim Carrey Robotnik and video game Robotnik. So you see him, like, doing the final shave to make himself bald. You can see he has a bit of a gut on him, like Robotnik is, because, Robotnik's fat. And the best part of this scene is Jim Carrey's Robotnik voice and the video game Robotnik voice are two very different things.
Yeah, but
And in that scene, he starts out in his Jim Carrey Robotnik voice, and he slowly kind of transitions to the video game Robotnik voice. So it goes from my grasp on sanity remains absolute, to ha ha ha, come on, that's funny, ha 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 ha, ROCK-CONNAISSANCE!
My grasp on sanity remains absolute. Isn't that right, Agent Stone?
Why don't you get a head start? Do some ROCK-CONNAISSANCE! ROCK-CONNAISSANCE! Come on, that's hilarious! What's the matter with you? Here's the stitch. Uninhabited planet. No resources, no supplies, no apparent way home. A lesser man would die here. I'll be home by Christmas.
It's just so cool to watch him, like, slowly descend into madness.
Yes.
And I am almost positive that if a sequel comes out, he's either going to keep that up, and at the end of the movie, it's going to stay that voice, or as soon as he comes back, it's going to stay that voice the whole way. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Jim Carrey, I really hope you take care of your voice, because trust me, it's going to kill your vocal cords.
And speaking of sequel, let's talk about sequel bait.
Oh my gosh, Tails is in the movie.
The mid-credits
And not
scene.
only that, my girl, Colleen, the actual voice actor, well, Triss technically, for Tails, voiced that scene, and I'm honestly so glad that, like, someone spoiled it to me on Twitter, so I'm a little bit upset, but at the same time, I'm glad that they did, now that I think about it, because, I would have screamed so loud, like, he probably would have thought that I don't know, I probably would have broken your eardrums, because when I first heard Tails was in the movie, I was very upset, and I was like, why did you spoil that to me, because, like, I thought Tails was gonna be in the movie, but... you know, I was glad that I at least wasn't spoiled the end scene because I could see him come out. I could see his, like, you know, the tail split into two.
Yeah.
And then he flies off. And just after that end scene with that kind of hype, especially since Sonic just settled down and now it's like, oh my gosh, something else is going down. They have to.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Tails? Go.
Yeah, Tails was very nice to see. I think it was very, I won't call it natural because it was flat out sequel bait. But I liked how they got the actress in, original actress. That was nice. You saw the little Tails gizmo that he had, and
which
like,
he didn't notice.
I didn't notice
but he
the first
somehow
time.
noticed the fact that Tails, they were in one tail and then they split off.
Yeah, and that was just cool. He talked about how I hope he's still here and I hope I'm not too late. And then he flies off, maybe to find Sonic. Who knows? Guess we'll find out later. And yeah, so that's
Great sequel bait. It worked.
it worked.
It worked.
Yeah. So I think that's
That's basically like everything
I think that's
about the
everything we
movie.
talked about.
The things that I would improve on, the fact that they rushed. Well, this movie was pretty much rushed.
Yeah,
Because,
the CGI at least was.
Because what happened was, you know, they had the first design for Sonic, that failed miserably. Note the lack of surprise. See what I did there?
I did.
The fact that they had to change the design completely, especially since, you know, the deadline was so close and they had to push it back. There were moments where Sonic was like too blue or too bright or not bright enough.
You could see it in the trailer. There was a scene in the attic where Sonic was just too bright.
He was
to be in
like, it was like this shade, like it was like someone literally just cast a light on him. And I have heard that people will tweak things before the actual DVD comes out. So who knows? Maybe Paramount is gonna kind of tweak with it before the actual movie comes out on DVD. I slightly hope they do, but if they don't, it's bearable. As long as if like the lip syncing, like, you know, works, because that fun fact about me, I can't stand it when lip syncing doesn't work. Like, you know those movies, like it's like they animated the lips and then they voice acted it.
That's actually what they do a lot in anime.
Well, like anime, that makes sense because it's literally just up and down. That's it. But when in a movie like this, like when it's animated and, you know, lips have actual motion to it, if they don't, like if they animate it first and then voice over it, I hate it. Like, it's just the whole movie ruins it. Like, if Endgame was made like that, I would have hated it. I'm sorry, but that's just how picky I am with lip syncing. Either way, animation, really fun. It was really cool how they made Sonic kind of like flew in. And
yeah, it was amazing for the amount of time they were given. So,
all in all, with the animation mistakes, you know, the whole character redesign, all the actors, the sponsorships, references, everything, I would give this movie about an 8, maybe an 8.5. And that's just because I'm like super excited. Just generally because Paramount actually listened to the fans and took them into consideration rather than the critics, and just made a great movie in general. It broke the streak when it came to bad video game movies. And just, like I said, it gave me plans on Valentine's Day. It was a great present to me, and I cannot wait until the movie comes out on DVD. I'm buying it as soon as it comes out. So that's a perspective from a Supersonic freak. But what about the other side? What about, like, with someone who barely knows Sonic, or at least knows the basics?
well, as a just a Sonic. How do I say this? A Sonic.
Just acquaintance. How about
acquaintance. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. I'm not really a friend of Sonic, more of an acquaintance. You know, we've already been over this, but I would give the movie overall. It was very cliched in some points. Sponsorships were a lot. The CGI was amazing for what they were given. I love how Paramount changed their minds about the design, and they did it to please the fans, and I thank them for that. Overall, I would give this movie probably a 7. I would give it a 7. And remember, this is on a scale of 1 to 10, so 5 is like okay.
5 is just
Five's
like,
still a passing grade,
yeah.
but like 7, it was good.
Yeah, 5 is more like we didn't love it, but we didn't hate it.
Right.
So the fact that we went like over 5, it means like we really enjoyed this movie and we're going to buy it, or at least I'm going to buy it. I don't know if you are.
I might not. I don't know. But like 5 is nothing about this movie was great and nothing about this movie was bad. It was okay in every aspect.
Yeah.
But like I think this excelled in some places, didn't excel in others. So I would say I'd probably 6.5 or 7. I'd probably give it a 7. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I saw it. I'm even glad I saw it a second time. I saw a few more things. Was able to get a really good view of the movie, and
this is just
yeah.
a review from like the general people. What
Yeah.
we haven't studied it, or at least I haven't studied it. You're wanting to go to college for movies, so you're probably gonna figure out how to like, review movies. So who knows? Maybe we do an update when the second one comes out. But anyways, just like in our perspectives from both sides of this, like big fan, non-big fan, it's a great movie. So both of us would highly suggest you watch this movie legally. Please support Paramount, not only because they listen to us and the general public and change the design, but also we want a sequel. They need the money for the sequel. It's actually raised like over 200 million, so I think they're gonna be fine.
yeah. Okay, so I think that's all we want to talk about.
All right. So, once again, I am Momo from Momo Twitch. Eventually, I'm going to start my YouTube channel, so just keep an eye out for that. Go follow me on Twitch. Link is hopefully in the description below.
Yes.
We have a lot of fun playing games. I sometimes would draw every now and then. Basically, my theme is just like cuteness, food, slight edge. We have a lot of fun. Just be prepared to hear a bunch of lisping and, some things just going, woo!
Yeah, and I am Caleb. I am CaleGames on Twitch, twitch.tv/CaleGames. That'll put a link to that in the description. You're already on my YouTube channel, so I don't know, like, comment, share, subscribe. You
Hit
can do
the
any
bell.
of those things. Hit the bell. Ring that biggity bell all the time. And catch me on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time whenever I can. I stream really just only games. I do PlayStation 4 and PC.
You can watch him fail at keeping dinosaurs in their cages.
Oh, yes, I've been doing Jurassic World Evolution. Oh my gosh, that's a nightmare. But, so yeah, I am Caleb.
And I am Momo, and we'll see you next time, hopefully, when a sequel comes out.
Thanks for watching.
And goodbye!
See ya.
Bye! Bye!
Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays at 4. Tuesdays, Thursdays. Stop that right now.